This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, we got a notification. Awesome. Okay, calling to order. This meeting is being recorded. Please introduce yourself in the order listed for the record. I assume everybody has a printout or a reference to the agenda.
I will start.
Anyway,
Sarah
okay,
Frost.
Sarah Frost. Let's begin with
Thank you, Will. Sarah
William
Frost.
Nelson. Will Nelson. Next, that would be Tyler. How about Cupola?
Paula Napoleon?
Thank you. Tracy Dillon.
Yep. Tracy Dillon.
Thank you. And we already mentioned Emily. She's not here yet. And Dave. Dave Buswell. Want to confirm, Dave? Can you unmute, Dave? Well, we have Dave on visual. Okay. I'm going to move right along. Oh, and Isla.
Hi, City Council Liaison.
Thank you, Isla. Okay. Do we have any others who want to check in? Okay.
Did you get me checked
Do we
in?
have any additions, questions? Tyler, you made it. Thank you. Okay, do we have any additions, questions, or changes to the agenda this evening?
None?
Evidently not. There are no responses. Okay, moving on. The approval of the last minutes in the meeting minutes from October 21st. Are there any corrections or discussion about such? Nope. Moving on again. Can we approve the meeting notes, please? Is there a motion for that?
I motion to approve the meeting notes.
I'd second that.
Thank you. Do I have? Thank you. Okay, are we all caught up? Looks like it. Next, the reports. The library director's report first, please, concerning covering pandemic library services, hours, capacity, and staffing update. Sarah?
Yes, thank you, Will. So my report shall go quickly as there's not too much to chat about since December was relatively quiet here. Pandemic library, excuse me while I read through from my notes, so I will not be making eye contact with you here. So library service hours have returned to in-person by appointment or window service only. We made that change last week, and programs are, all programs in person are canceled until March, so through February. It's worth noting that as of this week, the Willamina Middle and high schools are virtual until the 26th due to an increase of staff and student cases and exposures. So we have concluded that that will assist us by remaining by appointment only, as we all know those kiddos love to all come down to the library when school's out. They were supposed to have finals week this week. However, now they're having a catch-up week and they will resume their finals when they return after the 26th. The elementary school is in session this week. They were out last Friday. However, they are also experiencing some staffing shortages, but they will be pulling, it sounds like, from the high school this week since high school is not in session. So just that little update only because what happens in the schools impacts us too, since we are very youth driven here. Our staff is back to pre-grant staffing and hours. So what that means is with the grants, I was able to get the city to increase Carla's hours to help accommodate me in the management of the 2 grants that we were awarded, being the OCF grant and the state library ARPA grant. The OCF grant ended December 31st, and part of that grant also paid for Richie to have additional hours. So as of January 1st, we are now back to myself being 32 hours as always I have been. Carla is back to 16 hours, down from the 24 she was approved for temporarily. And Richie is down to 8 hours a week, down from the 16 he was working during the grant. Given the amount of work we've put in during those very short months and our upcoming projects for 2022, I have decided that the library will not be taking on any additional projects. Our youth programs will be held monthly versus weekly. This includes story time, Teen Project STEAM, Junior Project STEAM, Teen Dungeons and Dragons, and our new upcoming Junior Timbervale Academy. This doesn't include our virtual programs that we run, but those luckily can kind of run themselves with just a little moderation from Richie and myself occasionally. Richie will begin working on plans for the summer reading program next month, as we were awarded our $1,000 yearly grant from the state for the summer reading program that came in this month. And then of course, that project will ramp up going into the summer months, which will take up a good portion of his planning time throughout the spring. For future planning, there are currently no plans to increase the library budget for the upcoming fiscal year due to pandemic hardships on the general fund. More information is available from our city manager, Kenna West, if you guys have questions about that. I will be submitting a workable budget to the city in the next month once I have the financial information from CCRLS regarding our reimbursement share of the pool. Other budget considerations are to include price increases to supplies, materials, notably books, as one of our CCRLS library book distributors are currently reporting that there will be an 8% increase in prices. And while that might sound small, unfortunately to us, that is quite more than enough since I quickly ran the numbers. And that could mean anywhere from an easy just extra $300 a year to an extra $600 a year, depending on buying the same amount of books or less books for the year. And then our programs also, as we continue with our digital platforms and our take-home programs. So that is the update on library services, hours, capacity, and staffing. And then also to report, for those of you who have not been in the library since the holiday or right around the holiday, we now are the proud owners of a beautiful book bike. I would encourage all of you to come by and see it. The book bike was purchased, of course, with those ARPA grant funds. It is on site for community members to see, and we've had lots of questions and also wonderful excitement and feedback. The next step will be to contact community partners, and I will work to ensure that the book bike is equipped with information regarding local resources. The book bike will take library services, technology, including Wi-Fi and printing, and additional local services out into the community. I will coordinate a schedule calendar for outreach in the community. And then I will start outreach for volunteers to assist with the book bike program. And I will probably start that recruitment sometime in the spring. The projected launch date of the book bike program will be either May or June, potentially May, as I work for the end of year school program, which the last year and a half we've been doing virtual programs. But if by then we are able to, then I will take the book bike up to the school for the end of the year. And if that's not the case, then the goal will be to launch it in June at the first farmers market. So that will be the plan for the book bike. And that is my report. And are there any questions?
Just a comment, I've heard how fabulous the book bike is, and I'm sorry I haven't made it to see it yet, but that's my plan.
With fees and stuff going up, do you feel like we need to start thinking about some different sort of fundraising things, or do you think doing what we have been doing will sort of get us through the year?
You know, I think what we've been doing, it could go either way. So what we have been doing will get us through the year, because we're not going to see a decrease in budgetary funds. If anything, we'll hopefully just see this flat going into the next fiscal year from where we are right now. And we do have money in some budget line items that are bookmarked that we don't really or have not had an opportunity, I should say, to utilize these last 2 years during the pandemic years. So there is a little bit of money to play with. I think that probably this year will be a good year, though, to start talking about pulling our fundraising efforts back into play, and especially going into this summer, and then with the potential for the book bike to bring the library out into the community. I'm hoping that we'll start reaching community members and potential new patrons who have not thought about coming to the library before, or now that we're coming to them, we'll be able to utilize the library more. And that could drive some awareness as far as the things we're trying to do, the programs we're trying to fund, and then any fundraising efforts. I am working on an article right now to put into the bulletin board, and what the purpose of that article will be is to showcase briefly what programs we've been able to launch with these grants. And then at the end of the article, it will be really to encourage community members to volunteer or donate. And the idea that I have that I'm trying to figure out how to kind of put together is, can people adopt a program? Maybe they want to put $50 a year to go towards 3D printing, or maybe somebody's really passionate about what children's books we have. Maybe they want to every year donate $40 for 2 new children's books, or whatever it might be. So I want people to feel like if they're going to donate money to us, that it's meaningful and intentional. So I'm just trying to, that's like big picture, and I'm trying to make it so it's more manageable for all of us. So those are kind of some of the things I'm playing with right now and trying to work out. And then of course, probably in the next few months, I'll start getting a hold of Kaypola and seeing if she is about ready to champion some more fundraising efforts. I think we'll be okay if we don't do fundraising, because who knows what month to month looks like anymore. We will be okay, especially since we have our CCRLS reimbursement, which will hold us through, and the tribal library won't be included in the reimbursement this fiscal year, this upcoming fiscal year. So they won't be included into the pot until the next fiscal year. And then that's when we will start seeing a decrease in our portion of the pool as it gets redistributed to include an additional library. So we definitely have some things to be thinking about as far as just upcoming though in the next couple years to come.
And
Okay.
Yes, Isla.
I'd just like everybody to please remember that I am storing the library's little glass house village extravaganza. So I don't know if you guys might consider maybe a Christmas in July sale or even wait until November and hopefully there'll be an art tour again. But anyhow, they're lovely things and I'm sure there's hundreds of dollars just waiting to be, you know, earned by selling those lovely houses that Janet Wood, a former teacher, gave to the library. It's been a couple of years back now. So, yep. So don't forget.
We won't. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting because like on-site fundraising just hasn't really been a reality for
Right.
last year. And I will say to our teens who are currently and thoroughly enjoying all of these new programs we've offered to them, they are actually trying to get creative and come up with some funding ideas that would fund those programs specifically, whether they be digital fundraisers, or one of them's even, can we open up an Etsy shop? So the teens are actively engaging with Richie as well as to some potential funding opportunities that's really driven by the teens. So we may have the ability to tap a whole age group of humans who have not ever been a part of the fundraising efforts for the future of the library. So that's some exciting potential there too. And that of course all comes from the work really out of the grant and the time that Richie's been able to invest in these teens because now they want to see these programs continue on. So that's any other questions about any of my report? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Do we have any library board member reports at this time? Evidently not. Okay, moving on. Do we have any unfinished business? All right, we can take care of that easily. New business, library board projects. Sarah Frost, you have something to say on that initially.
Initially I do, and then I will let both leads have an opportunity. It sounds like both projects have officially kicked off, which is super exciting. Thank you for not wasting any time and jumping right in. Really, I thought since we didn't have a lot of new business and these are the big agenda items for the next however many months or several months, by putting this as the business of the library board this evening, it would give you guys a chance to update each other, the other group respectively, and have any discussion and or ask any questions that maybe I can help answer from the library side this evening as we move forward on these projects. Stating that, I'll go ahead and Tracy, were you able to get your sound and mic working now? Let me see if I can unmute you from my end. Oh, there you are.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, so I'll
Yeah,
let you go
I had
ahead.
to log out and then log back in, so I think I'm good.
Okay. Would you like to?
So do you want me to do my thing?
Yes, do your thing.
Excuse me. Okay, so our kind of major goal here with the charter committee is to update the library charter in such a way that it's not simply emphasizing the library board and what it does, but actually, what the library does. I think we have a fairly robust rough draft of a motion, but I don't think we've had enough time as a committee, and certainly not with Sarah, to to bring anything forward right now. But my guess is that we certainly can have a motion prepared and sent ahead of time for the next board meeting. And I guess that's about it. I mean, it's, part of my process, just looking at the at the charter, was to cannibalize existing documents that Sarah provided about what the library actually does. Kind of folded that in there. Not wedded to any of it. Who's on that committee with me? Dave and Robin, I think. And we just have, I don't think, have had enough time to deliberate. And so when we can do that over the next few weeks, we'll send something out, I think. And Sarah, I would like, your buy-in, like, before we make it an official proposal, like, here's the excuse me, here's the the revised language and what we would like to add, and then just get everybody's buy-in on how that looks, and then move on from there. I don't know, Dave, if you want to add anything. You've been my co-conspirator on this this project.
I don't think I have anything else to add. I don't see my picture up there anymore. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to reboot.
Yeah, no, you're there.
Okay, well, I don't see.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got nothing to offer at this point.
I feel like that most every day, man. So in sum, I'm hoping within a couple weeks we can send out proposed, a motion for proposed language that then we can, hopefully vote on at the next meeting. I don't know. I just like to get work done, so if we can do that, that'd be great.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you. Yeah, you jumped on that. You're not kidding. I think it will be done within a matter of a couple of months. So, because the document, I'm excited for the refreshed charter, especially the way it incorporates the updated mission statement and really the work that libraries, but especially our library, is doing, but then really to drive the future of the library, so that anybody can look at the charter and know what direction the library has been moving in and what direction it wants to continue moving in. Anybody should be able to look at that document and know what the library board is behind and doing to ensure that. So thank you for all of the work on that, and thank you guys for already meeting. So.
Oh, sure.
All right, so Tyler, I'm going to let you give a quick update on the Find Free project, as I've been watching those emails play out as well.
All right. Well, we haven't actually done anything yet, but basically our goals right now are to go over all the stuff you sent over from McMinnville when they went Find Free, and sort of get to basically, piggyback on all the work that they did so that we don't have to do everything from scratch. And then work to put together a proposal. And I think basically we're going to do and it seems like a pretty straightforward thing that we want to present. We want to explain what Fine Free is and explain how it'll work, and then explain the benefits of it. And maybe I'll talk to Isla outside the meeting and get a sense of what the city council is feeling about this sort of thing. Just because if it's something the city council's already, disposed to do, then maybe we can make it a very simple presentation. But if it's something that they're sort of not interested in, then maybe we have to go a little bit harder on our presentation.
Well, actually, I don't think we've discussed it at all. I think we've heard about
Okay.
it, but there's been no discussion. So
Okay.
we're
'Cause we've
willing to
been-
listen for sure.
Well, we had to go, or the library had to go to the city council to go Fine Free for children last year. Was it last year?
20,
Or the year before?
2018,
Yeah.
Will, do you know? Was it 4 years ago?
It was my very first year, my very first meeting. So that would have been September of 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was a pretty different city council 4 years ago.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
We're older and forgetful, maybe.
So I guess where we're at is everyone's reviewing the documents we have, and then next month we'll start talking and dividing up tasks and making a plan.
That's great. Yeah, that project's definitely going to take a little bit longer than the wordsmithing of the charter, I would say. But I'm excited too to see the work come from that. And just so everybody knows, I asked Carla to kind of be a point person for Tyler as he's working with that group, because Carla has just been absolutely amazing and has been helping me with system audits, account audits. We're actually jumping the gun and trying to get ahead of some of our account cleanup, which has included fines. And Carla's already been working for months trying to reach out to patrons who maybe missed an opportunity to return to us due to the pandemic and have had things out since the beginning of the pandemic. So we've already been trying to get kind of ahead of this little project already. But she's also got the numbers. We just ran a clean report as to what the fines even look like for our library currently in the system. And we recently learned that CCRLS has not done an account cleanup of accounts with fines associated with them in a very, very long time. And they are supposed to clean those accounts up every 7 years, because after 7 years, the college deems those accounts forgivable, so that we don't have to try to collect on them, as it costs money for staff time in trying to collect those debts. So yes, and I just recently learned as well that there are 2 other libraries working diligently within CCRLS to go fine free as we continue to kind of see that movement play out. I believe it was Independence, and forgive me if I'm wrong, CCRLS libraries, but I think I saw Independence comment on that thread we were just discussing. And then I think the other one was probably Monmouth, so which would make sense because those 2 libraries are right next to each other. So yes, so thank you, Tyler, and thank you, Fine Free Project Group. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's it seems like something that has no real downside going Fine Free. So hopefully we'll get it done.
Well, that's our library board projects. Right back to you, Will.
While we're here, before I move on, Is there a way that you can close down someone's account since CCRLS isn't doing it or hasn't done it effectively in recent past?
Well, the library directors just discussed this, and we are doing a system cleanup of accounts who have existing or who have debt that's 7 years or older. And then they will start doing that every single year, every June. So it'll be a yearly thing that they do. In this first batch, so let's see if I can explain this well enough. So CCRLS, right before I became the library director, they changed systems from a previous ILS to the ILS that we are currently sitting in. So that's been within the last 7 years. So they have records that have debt associated in the system, but a majority of that debt is actually coded to CCRLS. They don't have a breakdown of that debt and what libraries were impacted by that debt because of that transition over to the new system. So in that big bulk batch that they're about to do, the Willamina Library accounts for one patron and $2 associated with that one patron that's going away in that batch. There was probably more than that, but that was the only debt associated to the Willamina Library in that batch data because most of it, again, was coded to CCRLS. Moving forward, though, especially as we are coming up on our 7 years of them moving over to the new system, we are going to start seeing patrons fall off every 7 years that have debt fines associated with their accounts. But yeah, this is a big system cleanup, CCRLS wide. These things are bogging down our system, and we're trying to get ahead of it so that as libraries move forward, libraries start moving fine free, so that we have clean data as we're moving to go fine free. That's kind of the step that has taken place in moving forward. So yeah, ours was very little for that first batch. So
Oh, thank you very much.
yes, and we will get a report every year that tells us what our share of that debt is that's being forgiven and then deleted. So
Okay. Moving on. Is there any public input? Nope. There's no public input. Are there any announcements? Everyone's awake and there are no announcements today. Okay. Are there any questions, feedback before adjournment?
Nice job, you
Do I-
guys.
Do I have a motion to adjourn, please? Tyler?
Motion to adjourn?
And Tracy seconds it. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody.
Night.
night.
The meeting has been adjourned.
Awesome.